Go this way. Let's go that way just a little more.
This is how I test out my mic. Don't mind me.
What you watch on the internet. We all, we stare at the internet sometimes, but be mindful. Make sure you're not putting a bunch of junk in there. There's also a lot of positivity. There's also a lot of this podcast, for instance, right? Listen to this podcast if you're going to be scrolling through numbness. But yeah, so it's things that right? Things that you want to bring into your body. Remember, your body's a temple. If you take care of it, it will take care of you. But showing up for yourself, that's very important.
I think the reason why people don't support themselves and encourage themselves, cheer themselves on, is because it feels weird. It sounds weird to hear positive messaging, because people hear so much more negative messaging in their life than they do positive messaging. There's like literally from the time you're a kid, there's so much more don't do this, you can't do that, than there is you can do anything, you're great, you're whatever. Like, I think most parents who love their kids do, offer positive reinforcement, and they say things, when they do something that the parents like, that they consider good. Oh, you did a great job at this, la, la, la. We have to normalize people rooting for themselves. And I'll start. I'm awesome. I'm my biggest cheerleader by far.
The average life is 75 years. So he says that's 75 summers, 75 springs, 75 winters, 75 falls. So you have 75. Yeah. Now, how old are you? Now take that, and that's what it is. So I'm 42. The average is 75. So how many of those do you have left? How many summers do you have left? Yeah. And I'm sitting there like, whoa.
Yeah, it's sobering.
Yeah, 33 summers left. It'll wake you up real quick. Yeah, definitely do that. If you're listening, if you're 20, you're thinking, I got 55 summers left. Then you're 20 now.
Right.
55 is not a lot, my dude. Take that vacation, hang out with your family and your children and your spouse. Do those things that make you smile. Yeah. You don't have to spend money to smile, by the way. You could take a walk by the park, by the beach, on the farm, whatever. Hug your dog or your cat. People are living longer, but we're talking about the average right now. 75 of them. How many you got left?
Tired in your 70s. Summer in your 70s ain't the same as summer in your 30s.
What can I do to make sure my tasks are being done, reaching my goals, taking every step closer and closer to another goal? Remember, the journey is the fun part. Because once you hit a goal, then what? You got to make another one, right? So have fun in the journey of it.
I'm sorry. There's this commercial. I don't know what the brand is, but there's this commercial where this guy is like eating something and he's like, nobody gets my chores done like me. But he didn't do the chores, but he's treating himself like if he did anyway, whatever the snack is. And it's so funny because he's like, he thinks he's showing up for himself, doing what he needs to do, but he totally isn't. Oh my goodness. If you don't know, New York gets hit with hurricanes and tropical storms all the time. At any point throughout the year either. It's not like hurricane season, in the Caribbean or something. Like it'd be January, it'd be July. We're getting storms. How is it that like the same houses get pummeled? It's like you didn't think to put the thing on stilts, after the last time. You didn't think to get more flood insurance after the last time. You didn't think to make sure that you had reserves of, whatever it is you may be. I don't know, oil in the oil tank or propane, whatever. Like when you get hit with a storm, you learn, because you might get beat up the first time. But my goodness, man, are you going to learn from it and prepare for the next one?
I remember when we became adults and finally got a generator.
That's what I'm talking about.
Forget the world for a second. Forget your family. You're allowed to be selfish for this one. Mm-hmm. Becoming a better version of yourself helps the people around you anyway. Mm-hmm. But being the greatest version of yourself, that's the key, right?
Don't be afraid to be yourself and to do things differently from how everybody else is doing it. It's actually because of who you are and because you're special and unique and different that people are going to appreciate you. I don't ever want to do anything that's mainstream. My music has never been mainstream. For the life of me, Ken, I can't seem to make a hip hop track or a pop track that just sounds like everything else that's on the radio. Life would be so much easier. I might be recording this podcast from a mansion if I could have just made my music sound like what was on the radio and I sold a bunch of records. I've been making music for like 2 decades now.
Long time.
Right? I never found that mainstream sound. But it's also the thing that made me who I am as a musician and a producer. It's the thing that got me the Google and got me the Ford and got me the Spotify and Shopify and got me all these different clients is because I'm different.
Let's talk about relationships for a second. All the women out there, they're no good. Everyone I meet is crazy. They all just want my money. Whatever it may be, right? That's what you're going to attract because that's what you're looking at. That's what, not to say you're looking for it, but if you keep speaking out loud and everyone I meet, well, those are the doors that you're opening.
It's your focus.
You're focused on meeting those kind of people. If you're focused on, well, every time I take a test, I fail, or every time I start a new job, I get fired, or every time. When you start focusing on all the negative as well and Googling, like Fenton said before, when you're using Google as your tool to focus on the negative, Google's going to give you what you want. Mm-hmm. You keep typing in negative comments, Google's going to say, here you go. I'm going to just spit out everything you're looking for. Mm-hmm. Just like when you want that new car and that color and you see it on the road all the time. Well, if you're attracting, my life is messed up. My life is stressful. Everything goes wrong. Nothing goes my way. That's what you're going to attract as well. I had said this one day. It was another episode we did when my family and I were on vacation, and my daughter saw a bush of roses, right? A rose bush, and she's like, "Oh, Dad, they look so pretty." I stopped the car. I stopped the car, turned around, and we pulled over to the side of the road. It was safe. There was a little shoulder and pulled over, got out the car and actually stopped and smelled the roses. Like, enjoy the journey.
Awesome.
All right. The destination is always going to be there. And once you get there, then what? You got to make a new destination, right? You got to keep going. You're not going to stop. You get to the top of a mountain. That's just the bottom of another mountain.
Yeah.
Right. That's the base of another mountain you got to climb.
And then they said, well, are you scared? And he's like, yeah, I'm scared. It's like, why wouldn't I be scared? We're about to go into this military operation. There's going to be people shooting at us. Like, it's crazy out here. Of course I'm scared. If you're scared, then that's fine. But there's a difference between being scared and losing your nerve. And when you lose your nerve, you refuse to show up. You say, I'm just not going to do this anymore. So don't lose your nerve. Show up and get it done.
I want my children to look at me and say, wow, that's my dad. That's my father. I look up to him as a mentor, as a teacher, as a dad. Like, I want my children to speak like that when I'm not around. Not, oh, that's my dad over there. He's there. He pays the bills.
Yeah, that's him.
The water's running and the electric's on.
Just move him out of the way.
All the people that I've worked for believed in being done over being perfect. Yeah. And they all have made way more money than I have had. And I'm not going to say that they they will forever, because I still plan on being wildly successful. But the thing that they understood was that it's more important to be done. Done is the engine of more. Done means you can go do other things. Done means you can revise the thing that you just did and make it better. But you can't until it's done, until it's out in the world. Mm-hmm. And so, I've seen people make a lot of money that I don't think were as good as me. But they knew what I didn't, which is that you don't have to be good and you don't have to be perfect.